Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Plague Inc. Evolved custom scenarios. I know we've been playing a lot of Rebel Inc. as of late, going through some of those mega brutal guides, and this game kind of fell by the wayside a little bit, but we're going to be fixing that today because I do want to occasionally pop back into the workshop and look for some new creativity. This one right here, Mass Hysteria, Dancing Plague, caught my eye because it sounds pretty cool, by Philodendron hetericium. Gosh, what a name that is. Alright, the Dancing Plague was a strange phenomenon in Strasbourg, Alsace. I've actually been there before, it's actually pretty nice. In the Holy Roman Empire, in the summer of 1518, hundreds danced out on the streets, and the event lasted with many succumbing to exhaustion and injuries from the frenzied behavior. It remained an unknown anomaly of the past. I'm pretty sure there's actually a Stellaris event based around this too. Could be wrong. But unbeknownst to them, the cause was a neurotropic virus. Unearthed, we slowly regained the genes that caused this centuries ago, making the unexplainable phenomenon of the past now a tangible nightmare. A first scenario. Well, that's kind of cool. All right. Always happy to see people jumping into it feet first, especially if it ends up turning out really well. I just like encouraging people with that. All right, we got a virus type, metabolic jump, Darwinist, aquasite, extremophile, and symptostasis. All should be fine. Tripudio virus? Is that what you're calling it? Okay. You're a neurotropic virus with the ability to alter the mind's control of the body, to disrupt the host's muscle signals. That makes sense. Your mutation patterns are unpredictable. Severity is always high, but lethality is low. Transmissions, symptoms, and abilities may aid in cure research or slow it. Got it. So it's going to be kind of a high-risk, high-reward scenario. I like that. We are a bit outdated, unfortunately. Centuries have passed since the first major outbreak. Used to the colder and poorer environment of Strasbourg centuries ago, we must adapt to the sanitized, modern world of today. Well, I guess for fun, we could start in Germany. I mean, it's a terrible place to start, to be honest. But we're gonna do it anyway, just for the theme of it, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's see what we got as far as transmissions. We've got herbs for the rural environments. We've got droplets for humid environments and ship transmissions, and fomites. Very, very important for us if we're starting off in Europe. Symptoms. We start off with psychomotor development. The virus alters brain DNA for the motor control. All right, makes their research easier. Proprioception enhancement, development of mechanosensory neurons in the muscle increases performance on psychomotor skills, making research easier. And transgenic override, okay, again, increasing motor skills control and research speed. We can research myoclonus. Myoclonus? How do you say that? I don't know. Brief and subtle muscle contractions, slight severity, got it. All right, that's probably going to increase some of that severity. It doesn't really seem to do a lot as far as infectivity. In fact, it does absolutely nothing. Hopefully this leads to something pretty good, because so far I'm not seeing a lot to work with. We've got our cold and heat resistance, drug resistance, genetic activation, increasing cure research speed, and mutations. Could be useful in the right circumstance. Genetic engineering, same exact sort of thing, unlocking more symptoms. Okay. Okay. So yes, both of these are going to unlock new symptoms. Sever symptoms instead of severe, by the way. And genetic hampering, which is going to remove genes that cause severity or lethality. You can see it greatly reduces severity down here, and again, increases cure research. Yeah, high risk, high reward is probably the right description here. All right, this is going to be a little bit tricky, and starting off in Germany is not doing me any favors, but we'll go ahead and start by picking up the fomites. We've already got 10 people infected. I mean, it's not exactly like, you know, breaking any world records over here, but it's not the slowest thing I've ever worked with in my world. We could go for things like the drug resistance early, and I am tempted to do that. What would it take to get fomites to 10? Probably can go ahead and get 10 DNA and pick that up first, sure, but then after that, yeah, probably need to get things like drug resistance. All right, we got our first mutation, whether I like it or not. That's going to lead to chorea, brief and random muscle jerks. So the more this picks up, the more people are going to notice what's going on, right? It's basically just involuntary muscle movement. That's all that's happening here. Let's go for that drug resistance. That should really help kick things off just a little bit. Hundreds of people have been infected. You know, every time I step away from Plague Inc. for like any meaningful amount of time, it resets all the messages. I have to keep going back into like the settings and turn off some of those basic things like, oh, you've infected thousands of people. It's more infectious than the Spanish flu. Like, I know. Do you even know who I am? I've been playing, there we go, thousands. I've been playing this game for so freaking long, more than anyone really thought possible, if we're completely honest. And yet you're still having the audacity to tell me? I know! At this point, you'd think I'd actually have memorized how many people died from the Spanish flu. I haven't, but I probably should have. Anyway, that's beside the point. All right, so we're just waiting here on Germany. Having a few 100,000 people infected. Still getting into, you know, absolutely nothing. Restless leg syndrome. Oh God, I've had that before. Well, hopefully this isn't indicative of anything. We're getting almost no DNA, by the way. This is a terrible idea. Oh, they've already spotted me in Germany. What do you know? Yeah, no, this is actually a really terrible idea as far as the starting position. Hopefully it ends up picking up. We're starting to spread around in Europe now. Okay, there's some DNA to work with, finally. Could go for drug resistance level 2. Instead, going to pick up a level of cold resistance, which in and of itself is weird, because usually you don't worry too much about your starting environment, but I'm really desperately trying to pick up any sort of speed here, because this is atrocious. It truly is. What do we got here, by the way? Athetosis, uncontrollable writhing movement on the hands, feet, and face. Yeah, muscle twitches and stuff. Okay, let's go for that fomites. Let's also pick up some herbs for the poor and rural environments. Now that we are starting to get out of Europe, I would like to get some of that. We may want to consider a bit of devolving. I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit. Just kind of hold this back. Too much severity is obviously going to become a problem because we were detected pretty darn early on in the game, and I'm starting to think we need to pick up something like genetic hampering. And the research speed of mutations is scary, but if we don't get our severity down a little bit, they're going to start working aggressively on the research, and so far we've managed to avoid that. Hopefully I timed that kind of okay, but we'll see. Still making practically no progress getting around. We need things like heat resistance too. Have to get things like that or we're gonna get stuck. So let's go ahead and pick that up now. All right, so that should hopefully help us start spreading in places like Saudi Arabia. There's athetosis again, whether I like it or not. We got 100 million people infected so far. Still not getting very far. Let's pick up droplets. Maybe we can get into a place like India or something. We got it at China, so that'll help. Brazil, yep, okay. Still not great in any sort of a hot and arid environment, but everywhere else we're starting to pick up some steam. Fomites level 2, corpse transmission. Okay, so we need to remember that that exists, because that could be very helpful. We'll pick up herbs level 2, and we'll pick up droplets level 3. I'm just desperately trying to pick up anything that gives me a transmission advantage at this point. We could go for more heat resistance or more drug resistance, and honestly, it's tempting. What do we have over here? Dystonia, sustained and repetitive muscle contraction. Yeah, but I think I'm going to instead continue devolving athetosis over here. I don't want to let the world start working too aggressively on the cure, because we have so many modifiers working against us, right? That could become a problem. More heat resistance might give us what we need as far as expanding in Africa. I could go for herbs level 3, and it is a pretty hefty amount of DNA, so it's not a bad plan. And we may actually need to rely on things like the mutation actually carrying me to victory for the rest. Time to close down. Panic ensues as reports of the virus appear at different parts of the world. Countries have encouraged the closing of their borders, ports, and other possible means. Well, first off, what do we have as far as the world? So there's at least a couple islands still missing. Madagascar, New Guinea, and the Philippines. Hopefully we get into these before they close down. I'm especially worried about places like Madagascar because we don't have very many places that are going to go in here. This could become a problem, actually. Let's go for some more droplets. We could devolve again. I just don't feel like that's a good idea. I'm going to go for, gosh, 42 DNA? Did these increase in price? I feel like they must have. Let's go for genetic activation and see what this gets me. No idea. All right, well, the mutation chance is now happening. We got into Madagascar, so that's good. Waiting for things like New Guinea and the Philippines. Got into the, wait. Oh, we got into the Philippines. Hang on, did I actually get into all the islands? We did. Wow, okay. Didn't actually expect that to happen, but okay. Viral hijack and stuff. We can go for severity. What we really need at this point, though, is just going to be an absolute ton of mutation. Could go for things like genetic engineering, but we also need genetic hardening to slow things down, or we're going to be in a lot of trouble here. What do we have here? Enhanced lipid bilayers. Interesting. Greatly increasing infectivity, resistance, and mutation chance. Mutation chance, but not increasing their research speed could be kind of good for me. Let's go for the enhanced lipid bilayers, I guess. We're trying to really spread here, but if I don't start getting some serious mutations here, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. So there's the viral hijack. We can go for level 2 here. Increasing severity and increasing, okay, I assume increasing the cure research time, so that's what I want. Viral hijack 3, reducing research speed. Okay, so this is what we're working on. I'm trying to get rid of some of these expensive options so mutations start working for us in some of these ways. But lethality is still extremely low. Terrifying insight. Virus has exhibited abilities that alter the psychology of the host. Scientists are afraid of the potency and possibilities of what could happen. They're still at 28% in the cure progress. It's slowing down just a bit. We're starting to get some mutation, though. So we got ataxia, which means that people are going to have trouble with coordination and slow down the research speed again. Akinesia, difficulty of initiating movement, making it harder to speak and walk, hard to research, could be useful. There's not much more that I can really afford to spend my DNA on. That is part of my problem. We need to get into other places in Africa. There's mania, so a little bit of insanity will probably start helping, reducing the research further. That leads to hyperactivity. Auditory hallucinations, harder to cure. Yeah, but the thing is I need lethality, though. Lethality is what I'm looking for, and I'm not getting it. We could go for genetic engineering, and I'm going to just to see if that opens up anything new. It does not. Okay, what do we have here? Genetic loss. Virus loses vital genome for replication and other necessary genes. Virus completely breaks down. Why would I want to do that? Reduces severity, yes, but at this stage in the game, shouldn't matter. Okay, I got one event and just immediately got overwritten. People are writhing in agony as their bodies collapse from exhaustion. Okay, but they're still at 40% research speed, so I mean, like, it's still not working here. My neighbor's been acting strange lately. Dude, there are billions of people who are twitching and dancing uncontrollably. You're now only just now writing to the editor about your neighbor? What is wrong with you? Auditory hallucinations, okay. I mean, some of the mutations are definitely helping. There's akinesia. Again, it's not setting anything back exactly, but it is doing something. Tremors, now a thing, okay. Hard to cure. Starting to get some lethality, at least. Spastic paralysis, increasing lethality, harder to cure. We could get chronic in-me. Hard to research from a music that never dulls down. And choreomania, sorry, like choreography, got it. Screaming and self-harm, massive cure setback. Yeah. Could go for things with the fomites. I'm a little worried about getting into places like Algeria, Morocco, and West Africa, because so far, absolutely nothing is happening there. Nothing whatsoever. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the fomites. Viral replication, increasing mutation and stuff. Yeah, maybe. I'm just not gonna get much DNA from here on out. And without more DNA, I can't do a reset, so this is gonna be a problem. Cities get noisier. Harmonized rhythmic wailing sounds emanate from the streets as people dance with no purpose. And yet somehow Western Africa appears to be just like completely immune to this. What we get, Tourette syndrome? Yeah, Tourette syndrome, okay. Lots of repetitive tics and stuff. Severe vocal tics, Still no idea how we're gonna make this work. This is still going very slowly. Okay, we managed to get into at least Algeria, and we got everywhere. Excellent. There's a man banging his head against the door. Sorry, there we go. There's a man banging his head against the door. Misread that the first time. Whoopsies. Okay, Leschnian syndrome. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Inherited disorder characterized by self-mutilating behaviors and aggressions, increasing lethality. That lethality is not high yet, but at least we've got corpse transmission, so we actually should be good now. Intense rage. Everyone's getting really angry, and there's no one left that's healthy in the world. Perfect. All right. Unlock Monkey, and we'll start killing everybody, I guess is what's going to happen now. And I'm generating a lot of DNA as we start getting all the casualties. Perfect. Okay, so there's really not much else I need to do. We could get herd mentality spread everywhere. Is this like a spore burst? That could be helpful. And musical induced trance. I think we can actually get a couple of spore burst options there, basically, which is nice, but we actually managed to get away from that. And this is with me starting in Germany. Now, I'll tell you right now, the score is going to be awful by the end of the scenario. We started in freaking Germany. All right, it's gonna be terrible. You don't start in freaking Europe. Their healthcare is phenomenal. I know this, right? I'm an American. I hear about it on Reddit every freaking day. But yeah, no, we managed to make it work somehow. Let's go ahead and reset that cure progress down a little bit. Only got 4% out of that? Oh, good Lord, that's just insulting. All right, whatever. So at this point, all we do is just sit back and wait, right? I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, we'll sit back and wait. Dance till you're dead. What, that song? Dance, dance, dance till you're dead. Off with your head, right? Yeah, heads will roll. Intense build-up. Da, 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 da. I don't even know actually the melody for that song, if I'm completely honest with you. I just sort of know it a little bit from a show called Glee a while back when they did kind of a spin-off with Michael Jackson's Thriller, which I don't even really like that show. I honestly don't. But some of the mashups were actually halfway decent. Anyway, otherwise, that was the first time I'd ever heard that song, which, you know, just goes to show how I was kind of sheltered from a lot of music as a child. Whatever, that doesn't matter, though. Everyone's gonna dance until they're literally dead. And 7 billion are already dead. And the survivors, you know, they can only just sort of sit back and weep and then boogie. Just one last swan song boogie. All right, just about done. I will say I was a little bit worried about the scenario where some of the symptoms and abilities and such seemed really expensive, and I was gonna say this seems kind of unbalanced from a DNA perspective. And yet, somehow, we actually were able to afford most of what I want. The mutation chance is absolutely the key. If we had not relied on that, I don't think I would have gotten very far in this scenario. But we managed to pull it off, again, starting in Germany. Yep, Strasbourg's legacy lives on. I mean, no one else does, but the legacy does. Anyway, 782 days, 17% cure progress, 32,650 points, only 1 star. That is to be expected when you take this stinking long. Overall, actually, really good scenario. For a first try, it took a pretty interesting, unique anomaly from history. It made it kind of an actual cohesive scenario, and the balance was much better than I was expecting. So really though, solid first attempt at a scenario. Well freaking done. Thumbs up from me. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.